So, someone on Reddit commented or replied to my post and said, "Why do I always see people debut their new helmet while sitting on the couch?" And I thought that was such a funny concept for a video, so here we are. Now, I want to give you a disclaimer real quick. I am a new rider. I rode dirt bikes for several years and then sold everything and moved all my gear. My gear at that time was just the cheapest stuff I could find. I was not too worried about safety. I just bought an adventure bike. I bought a Kove 800, and that brings with it a lot more risk and danger and horsepower and speed and other vehicles because it's road legal. And I wanted to do this properly. So I've been spending some money on good, brand new, name brand, high quality gear. And how did I arrive at the Klim X1 Alpha? To be honest, after a bunch of research, I was pretty convinced that I was going to buy one of the Liat helmets. They were so well reviewed, they had critical acclaim, and so I thought that was the easy answer. But I went and tried them on, and this is the first tip that I can give to anyone who's in my situation, or even people who are experienced riders, I imagine. But definitely for me, it was so important to try on as many helmets as I possibly could. And so I actually called around looking for this helmet, looking for the Shoei Hornet 2, or I think they may even have an X3 out now, looking for the Arai XD5 and XD4, looking for that Liat helmet, and there were a few others besides that I specifically had heard good things about and I wanted to try out. An LS2 adventure helmet that was carbon, modular Schuberth helmet I also tried out. Here's what I remember. First guess, the Liat. I put it on and it squeezed the sides of my head with my glasses super bad. In fact, I couldn't even get the glasses on for about 30 seconds. So that's an immediate no, unfortunately. I also tried the Arai on, I think that was next, and that was supremely comfortable, although it has this nose piece, or this chin piece that gets very close to your nose and points, and it was very close, and it even rubbed once, and I'm like, oh no. If this is gonna rub as I'm riding, that's a no. I later learned that that piece is removable, and that quality and comfort for that helmet are superb. So if it fits your head shape, and hopefully you don't have to take out that piece, but if you do, maybe the helmet still works pretty well. But at the time I decided that wasn't the right answer. Tried on HGC Modular, and I actually really loved how easy modular helmets are to take on and off, particularly if you grow your hair out at all. You want to be able to manage that and have it not yank your hair, and for whatever reason a modular helmet just makes that so much easier. I had much longer hair at the time. This has been trimmed. I also tried on the Schuberth. I remember it being very heavy, but very solid feeling. The modularity, again, was really nice. But this helmet right here, the X1, it fit every bit as good as the Arai for me, for my head shape, which meant it fit the best of all of the helmets that I tried. And it was also noticeably lighter. And I'm not the one to count grams for helmets necessarily. I think there are more important features than that, and you can build up neck muscles to do anything if you practice. Look at Formula One drivers. But it is really noticeable. It's not just a few grams. It felt very noticeably lighter than the Arai. Now, does that mean it's louder? Probably, right? I actually assume so. But it's lighter, and it's what felt like a lot better vented than the XD5. It's got the corner vents here. It's got these two chin vents. A lot of people say these covers feel cheap and chintzy. They kind of do. But it's also got a detent right here to crack the windscreen, or of course you can remove the windscreen all the way. The other thing that really sold me on this helmet, in addition to it being every bit as comfortable as the XD5 and not rubbing my nose, was that the visor blocks infrared. This is unique among all the helmets I've found. The visor blocks infrared, which means it stays much cooler. And this being a reflective light color also stays much cooler. And with this size of face shield, this size of windscreen or visor, whatever you want to call it, I try to not use the word visor because some people say this is the visor. Whatever. With this much surface area and this much field of view, it's great for a riding experience. I love it. I've tried other road helmets, borrowed my buddies, borrowed my friends, and this was way nicer. However, all that sunlight comes in and it cooks you. So I live in Utah. I plan to do a lot of desert riding. So a lightly colored helmet that also has the photochromic visor and darkens and also blocks all of that infrared, that is huge. That is game changing for me. So hopefully this helmet will be cool and light, and I have ridden with it. The Cove 800 famously doesn't have the best wind protection for taller riders, so I have a bracket coming that will slide the windscreen up several inches, and that should be good. When I hunch down on the bike, I can just get out of the wind, and then it's no problem at all. And also, I plan to get a pair of in-ear monitors and connect that to like a Sena system or something. So I'm not too worried about noise. Between the taller windscreen, the fact that it is an adventure bike, and I'll be riding probably 30 or 40 miles an hour on dirt for a fair amount of that bike's life, and also with those monitors coming, noise was not that important to me. But it could be important to you if you ride a GS and you almost always go 80 miles an hour and you only occasionally go off road onto dirt. Then I would go with an XD5, or I would go with something that is famous for being super quiet. Notably, the Cryos, the other Klim helmet, is famous for being extremely loud. And I was worried that this would be like noticeably loud, but it really was in line with what I was expecting. I just know that the Arai has a reputation for being particularly quiet. And I imagine with that extra ventilation, with the Koroyd material in here that's more porous, and with the extra light weight of this helmet, I imagine that probably the downside of all those things is the increased noise. So there you go. First and foremost, try on as many helmets as you can. And I'm telling you, I tried on at least a dozen from probably 8 different manufacturers. 3 Leatt helmets, Schuberth, HJC, this one, Arai, Shoei, LS2. The LS2 helmet was crazy heavy, even though it was full carbon. It came in a nice bag, and it was cheap, but it felt like they had 2 pounds of fishing weights in there somewhere. It was crazy. Maybe that means it's really a quiet helmet. I don't know. And then I think I tried a Nex WED 3 something or other, another adventure helmet, and it didn't particularly speak to me. I also tried a BMW Motorrad specific dual sport helmet. I don't remember who made that one. It was okay, but it pinched the sides of my head, kind of similar to the Leatt helmet, pretty seriously. So yeah, that's my brief review of why I chose the Klim. As a new rider, I'm sure that I will find things that I dislike about this that I want to change in 5 years when I order the next one. But for now, it feels like this will fit with the type of writing that I'm doing. And so I hope that that is useful to you. Thanks for watching. Come to the couch anytime.